on the East Coast. Good morning to the rest of the country. First and foremost, Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a great time over the holiday season with their friends and family. Certainly a good time to get a little bit of downtime, kind of reflect on the year, but also look forward to what's going on. Obviously, 2020, I think for everybody on this call right now, again, the space continues to get better. More opportunities out there for everybody. The channel is certainly changing the way that people are procuring technology in the partner community. So it's a very exciting time to be in the space. So certainly thank you for coming. So quick introductions. You have myself, Andrew Lauder. I'm the Director of Sales in the East for RapidScale. We also have Jason Roberts with us, one of our partner experience managers based out of Chicago. So for today, we wanted to talk about Office 365. I think this is probably something that's not new for anybody here, but certainly something that you need to be aware of, understand what's going on out in the marketplace, understand how we're positioning this and how we productized it, and the success that we're having in this. I mean, there's really been no bigger change in the internet that we've seen other than the shift to 365. Microsoft is forcing people to do this in businesses that underserved market, and even the enterprise market is looking for having some type of partner to work with to be able to leverage what the capabilities are, bring them into the technology, into the solution. Next slide, Jason. So a quick reminder, this will be recorded as they all are, and we'll send these out for you. We will leave a little bit of time at the end for some Q&A, so if you got some questions, fire them over to Summer. We'll make sure that we address those at the very end, but also if you have any other additional follow-up questions, please reach out to us, and we're happy to help. So the market shift, I mentioned a little bit earlier, and I'm going to kick this thing off today and then let Jason really run with it. Jason's kind of our native PEM Office 365 guru, where really nobody's has adopted this thing as much as he has, and he's really great at it, and it's a powerful tool that he uses to be able to demonstrate to partners and customers, but really kind of show the full breadth of services and power behind the tool. So from a market shift perspective, one thing that we're always looking for within this space is compelling events. Right? People make changes, they make decisions based on an event that's happened within their business that's either affected it or can make it better. So in this case, Microsoft, for one, has really put one out there, which is Microsoft 2010 is becoming end of life in October of this year. So roughly every decade, Microsoft phases out those existing licenses and really forces people into getting into their new, either upgrading through a perpetual license system or in this case 365. There's a pigeonhole that they're doing, right? So basically, if you have under 500 employees, you can no longer buy that license yourself. So you have to move to 365. What's that mean? If you're a 300 employee business and you're running on 2010 right now that you bought, years ago, when you want to go to upgrade, you have to go to 365. There's no way around that. That's really just that's what they're doing. So, and we're going to continue to see that number increase from the floor of 500 to then be 1,000. They're basically saying everybody's going to 365. We're no longer going to want to be selling companies licensing to be running on servers and deploying out. We're going to 365. So with that being said, how are they going to get there, right? And that's kind of what we're seeing this market shift. Not only that, but there's a lot of other tools that are really being built in that Jason will discuss with you into the whole suite of the 365 that are super beneficial for these companies. So that being said, I'm going to kind of pass it over to Jason. Obviously, Jason, again, he's very knowledgeable about this. If you guys have questions after, please let us know. Send them over to Summer, and we'll make sure that we address those. But Jason, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, bud.
All right. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. It's in my time zone or west. Good afternoon to my East Coast friends. It's a majestic winter morn here in Chicagoland. It's about 15 degrees outside, but the skies are clear. The geese are migrating, and it's a great time to be in the cloud space. So I couldn't be more excited to be here. Office 365, as Andrew put it nicely, I'm kind of the guy when people have questions. As more accurately put, I'm kind of the office dork at RapidScale. So that said, we talk about market shifts, we talk about compelling events, and it's true. Microsoft is not shy about this. They're kind of goosing everybody along to where they're gonna it's gonna be the stick or the carrot when it comes to going to Office 365. But I maintain And granted, I get that. I'm excited about the technology. I'm a little biased, but I maintain that your customers, as a trusted advisor, your customer base should be more excited about going to Office 365 for the potential it creates in the space than the laborious action of being forced to migrate against their will. And the reason we say that is this: within the market space, within the market period, and this is across multiple industries, right? This is not just for the for-profit or the major manufacturers, the major industries, the industry titans. This is everybody: oil and gas, SLED, like I said, state and local. Everybody's got this environment today where the landscape is changing, and what is changing for these people is the customer experience and the expectations around that. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, the folks that you do business with, the folks that your clients do business with, are expecting to keep pace with today's experiences. And really, it becomes a situation where you're either going to be a solution provider, a business or organization or a governing entity or whatever that can deliver on those expectations, or you have no expectation of loyalty from your customer base anymore. And it really does change the conversation from, well, we got this technology, we need the new technology, to what are you doing? What are you doing to attract new talent, to attract new clients, to attract new business, and retain the relationships you have worked so hard to get? Because I got to be honest with you, just the fact that I did business with you 10 years ago or 5 years ago or last year or 6 months ago, if I can do it better, faster, cheaper somewhere else, as a consumer, I'm going to. So we really do have the opportunity now to sit at the cross-section of this, and as a trusted advisor to your partners and to your customers, and say, okay, what can we do for your business using technology? How can we make it different? How can we get that competitive edge? And like I said, I'm biased, but my competitive edge, I would say if you can get the Office 365 story down and you can communicate that to your client base, it could very, very easily become the competitive edge they need going into 2020 and beyond. So, adoption. Let's talk about this. Adoption of Office 365. Pretty much, I think this is the future is now. It is 2020. When I was a kid, we would talk about 2020 like Blade Runner took place in 2019. Just to kind of give you an idea, this is the time we live in. So Office 365 adoption is, the future has come and is now is coming and now is. So everyone's going to Office 365 at some point, and I think there's some other offerings that they can take a look at out there. Nothing that holds pound for pound the same value that Office 365 does. And so who's going, who jumped first? We see the largest adoption right now in the financial sector and the manufacturing industry. And so they have the highest rate of usage. And we kind of think about, we kind of scratch below the surface of that and we say, well, why do you suppose that is? I came from a finance background, and I got to tell you, communication in the financial sector is of the utmost criticality. You need to be quick, you need to be efficient, you need to be accurate, and mistakes in the financial sector are not easily forgiven. You're always in the court of public opinion, and the level of scrutiny that goes into each and every service and transaction being provided, you are eternally the bad guy no matter what happens. So you have to be at the top of your game at all times. It's kind of a stressful industry. So that said, I'm not surprised that Office 365 and the ability to really harness that internal communication and really, really, really dial in efficiencies and productivity, I'm not surprised that they're on the list. But I think one that might be shocking to people and is the manufacturing industry. Because traditionally, especially, for example, I'm in the Midwest. We're not known for being on the bleeding edge of technology all the time. This is in Silicon Valley. But manufacturing, being such an early adopter, being such a heavy early adopter into the Office 365 environment, I think is pretty eye-opening. And I say that because if you are you're a Midwestern manufacturing plant, you have, especially in today's day and age, we're a service-based economy. We're transitioning out of being a global manufacturing power. So more than ever, a manufacturer needs to be able to control the process all the way from the demand chain through the supply chain, and they need to be able to control everything in between. And the margin for error is so small, and there's so many people depending on the successful outcome of that business that I'm not shocked at the Office 365 usage, but I think when we talk to our client base, sometimes we kind of start to categorize folks that, who's tech friendly, who's not, who's cloud friendly, who's not, who's kind of more cutting edge, who's more pushing it, who's more old school, and I would challenge you as somebody in the channel, as somebody in the partner community, don't overlook a customer at face value because you think of the industry they're in. And to be candid, to be a truth serum, I may not have guessed manufacturing to be top on that list, but I'm glad to know that they are, because I think what that shows is that this is not a conversation that's reserved for the technologically elite. This is a conversation everybody has to have, because at the heart of Office 365, at the heart of cloud computing, period, businesses run on applications today. That's the backbone of every industry, every service, and every company, every organization, every church, every school, every government entity. They're running on mission-critical applications. And so how do you support that? How do you adopt that? And how do you communicate within? Well, when we look at Office 365, it speaks to it, because what it allows people to do is, one, maintain this idea of high availability within the communication of a company, within the communication of processes and people. And what it allows them to do is say that I don't have to worry about a server going down because my environment's not on a server. It's in a server farm, and it's in the cloud, and it has built-in redundancy, and things that I don't have to pay for or patch or manage. I don't have to do any of this anymore. I just get to use the process. Because while businesses run on applications, the lifeblood to the business is not the technology. It never has been. The lifeblood of the business, the success of the business, hinges on its ability to be efficient and communicate, especially cross-departmentally. So I'll give you a quick example here of what I think would be, at least something I saw unforeseen. I had a company come over to my house the other day. It was come to repair my furnace. In Chicago, in the dead of winter, you don't want furnace trouble. So, and then I woke up one morning and it was 58 degrees in my living room. So I had an HVAC guy come over, and he looked like a cartoon character HVAC, contractor. And he'd been in the business for 30 years, knew, everything in and out, staunch professional. He was on time, he was polite, he was courteous, he wore those little booties. I loved him, he was awesome. And we're down in the basement, he's looking at the furnace, and here is a guy who's been in the business for 30 years, probably wrote the book on HVAC, pulls out his iPad, clips a picture of a part that we're looking at, jumps on Teams, and asks somebody in the back office a subject matter specific question about that part, is able to get the answer, give it to me, order the part, and know exactly when it's coming, when it's installed, to give me the tracking number in less time than it would take me to get my oil changed 5 years ago. So that's the power of Office 365. This is now contrast that. Let's say I had another company come in and work on my furnace, and they didn't do that. They didn't, I got to go back to the office and see the part and talk to this. I'll let you know. Bye. I'm a nice guy. Even we're never doing business again after that. How do you go back? How do you go back after that? How do you do business with somebody else knowing that the capability is out there? And that's not the experience you're getting as a consumer. So when it comes to Office 365, there are a number of applications that are just built into the suite. Now, there's all different types of bundles, and there's all different types of products, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But here's the gist of this, okay? Within Office 365, you have the applications that are essential to a business, the things that people are used to using, right? Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? These things are still there. They're still available. You still have to use them. Most businesses run on them. I fear the business that doesn't. But the idea is that most businesses run on this. However, there is something very, very, very powerful about the Office 365 offerings that are available within these basic essential applications. And that is this concept. And if you're taking notes, this is something to write down and circle. Digital dexterity. The ability to work on these applications on any device, anywhere, whether you're at the office, you're at home, you're on the go, you're on the train, and to pick up right where you left off with document and data integrity. The ability to work on something, get a call, stop what you're doing, get up and leave, get on the train, pull it up, and it's all still right there, even if you switch devices. The ability to communicate with other people on that project, and have other pair of eyes, other pair of hands on a project to work in real time. This is not something to be taken lightly. And, you know, I think we're getting to a point with technology now where it's kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, it does that. I don't really get the breadth of that. Think of the ability to do that. If you are an Excel power user, you are chained to your desk or chained to your home office, one or the other. The ability to work on that on the go and collaborate with somebody else, that's incredible. And that is an Office 365 basic tenet is the idea of digital dexterity. I can work on my phone, my tablet, my desktop, my laptop, somebody else's computer. Because it's all in the cloud, it's all Office 365. So beyond the essential kind of business applications, you go to the next layer here, and these are the unifying applications. Okay, and what I'm talking about specifically here are things like the applications like Yammer and Delve. For anybody who's not, you know, fully fluent in all of these applications, believe me, most people aren't. Yammer is the ability to communicate top-down messaging, branding, and it's almost like Facebook. It's a social media platform internally to the customer, or for your internal customers. And so what that means, though, is the ability to broadcast a unifying message to all people within the charge of your organization. Here's why that's so important. A lot of companies have done this test in the past. I think we did it. If you haven't done it, I would suggest it. It's a hoot. Take people randomly at a company party, maybe the sales kickoff or the summit or whatever, the Christmas party, whatever. Take people randomly. Don't tell them you're going to do it. Put them in a corner, put a camera on them and say, who are we and what do we do, and see what they say. And most of the time, and I mean like 99.999% of the time, you're going to get a different response from almost every single person. Well, as a company who's trying to go into the 2020s and beyond, you're going to need to tighten that message up. And the easiest way to do that is to have a tool like Yammer that allows you to communicate to everybody on demand. Who are we? What do we stand for? What are we doing? What are we working on? What is happening? What are different departments doing? What is the news about this place? There are the people at the top of this list. You know, there's I don't know what our restrictions are on name dropping or whatever, but there's a company. Most people wear their athletic clothes. And you can ask anybody from the CEO, the CFO to the janitor, who are we, what do we do? And they will give you the same message. Everybody across the industry. It is something to aspire to. But what that means is when a company knows who you are and what you do, it makes the decision-making process so much easier because your goals are aligned, your mission's aligned. And contrast that to your customer's environment today and see if that's not something they would be interested in changing. So on the other side of that, you have Delve. Delve's the exact opposite. Yammer, top-down communication, branding across from this is who we are and what we do as an organization, all the way to your fingertips. Delve, exact opposite. This is who I am. This is as an individual contributor or as a department. Here's what we are doing. Here's what I am working on. Here's what I'm a subject matter expert in. Here's my contact information. Here is what, if you needed to know about this, I'm the guy to reach out to, or I'm the gal to reach out to. And you can search across the organization and say, hey, I need help with this. Who can help me? Oh, bing, 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 bing. Paul, Bill, and Tammy can. So, we, even as an organization on conference calls, we had somebody say, hey, we've been growing. We've been doing a lot of growing. If you're familiar with the Rapid Scale story, we've been growing leaps and bounds. Well, there's a lot of people who didn't work here last year that work here now and may have some questions on who does what. There's a great way for them to have on-demand information without having to call 15 people and figure it out. Do you think that'll increase your productivity? So as we move into the next category of applications, I'm going to put a little asterisk on this. This is my favorite category of the applications as somebody who loves Office 365. It's not that I want to kind of put some context around that. It's not that I love Office 365. It's that my passion in the workplace, at least, okay? So I have a family and I have all that stuff outside work. But my passion in the workplace has always been this idea of cross-functional excellence. Can the departments of an organization work together in harmony, and what are the results when they do? So there is a whole slew of applications that Office 365 gives you to help with that mission. So that's really what sparked my interest in this from the beginning. Was it just completely aligned with my battle cry of cross-functional excellence. Those applications, Flow, Planner, the Stream, and that kind of stuff, where you can take processes and automate them, and you can reach out cross-departmentally and say, hey, this is done. Let me know when this is done. They bridge the gap. Not everything's flowing through email anymore, which I'll circle back to. When we talk about my passions and pet peeves, email is a big one. I'll swing to that here in a second. But if you were to ask me, I want to change the way my organization runs. I want to change the way my customer organization runs. What's the leverage point? What's the inflection point on which we can make the most change? Put effort into one single spot that's going to change things and echo into the rest of our career. Teams, the adoption of Teams. Teams is the application that allows an organization to communicate with cross-functional excellence around specific subjects, on-demand information, and communicate in real time. Whether you're a frontline employee, a subject matter expert, a mid-manager, or Mr. Big, you have the ability to discuss things efficiently and productively. It changes the world. Now, that said, these tools are fantastic. They are, and I think we can all agree. Obviously, I'm excited about them. I think everybody else, these tools are fantastic. There are some inherent difficulties within them. Namely, we want this, okay, we're sold, we're on board, we want to do this, we have a grand vision of the future. How do we actually do that? What's the pragmatic piece? How do we get there? And that is where Rapid Scale comes in. And really, I mean this with all sincerity, Microsoft partners are not created equally. When you look at our offering, I maintain, and I say it with great pride, we are the heavyweight champion of the world of Office 365. And the reason I say that, we have the talent, the technology, the tools, and the experience to help a customer go from A to B through our migration, whether it's one of the automated migrations that come with the contract with no additional charge, or it's the idea that we're going to get it up, test it, implement it, and make sure the integrity is there through our backup services. But most importantly, I think this is the part that I really I'm keen to myself: end user adoption training. Native adoption rates on Office 365 aren't fantastic if you just kind of let everybody do their own thing. But the ability to say, hey, you guys got it. We have the technology to let you know how to use it, teach your people, train them, get them going, and then give you the data science back to report on that and say, here is who is good at this, and here is who needs additional support. Speaking of support, anybody in the organization can call into Rapid Scale 24/7, 365 and get it and get the help they need. There's no longer, you call IT calls that, there's a ticket. No. 24/7, 365, pick up the phone and call. We're here to help. And whether that support is, hey, I'm clicking and it's not working, or I would prefer it look like this, doesn't matter. We're here to help. So that said, we've migrated and we hold the license and support on thousands of seats. And that's across industries. That's not just commercial. That's not-for-profit. That's education. So whatever your customers, whatever their story that they're trying to tell, we want to try to help tell it too. And we want to give you the ability to empower that story and move them into their digital transformation. So there's obviously, like I said before, there's a number of bundles, there's a number of options to go through. If you just need email only, okay, that's an option. My guess is you're not going to stay there long. And obviously, you reach out with the opportunities, and we'll get you a bundle. But my point is, the one thing I wanted to point out about this, flexibility. Grand part of Office 365, and I think where that marriage Office 365 and RapidScale come in, is the ability to be flexible enough for the smaller entities and still powerful enough for the large enterprise. And that's what this shows, the ability to mix and match the solution for each individual member of the organization to the application and data sets that they need. Now, Technology Leadership Academy, and I'm going to go through this kind of fast. If you're thinking to yourself, hey, this sounds great, I'm not exactly ready to go have this conversation to its entirety, but I want to and I want to learn more, look no further than Technology Leadership Academy. This thing is fantastic. I take all kinds of self-learning, all kinds of online search, EDX, all this stuff. I do it all. This is top tier, top-notch stuff. And there's one specifically for Office 365. It's our business productivity certification. There's also one for cloud. There's also one for desktop as a service. So if you're interested in increasing your knowledge base and getting some industry-wide recognition, makes great LinkedIn posts. You can go through the things. Upon completion, successful completion, you're awarded the certification. You can call up and say, I called my wife and said, I have a black belt in business productivity. Baby, I got the boots to match. And she rolled her eyes because she lives with me long enough to know it's a Jason F type thing. So if you want to learn more about that, reach out. And here's who to reach out to depending on where you're at. There's a number of people who do exactly what I do. I'm obviously here in the mighty Midwest, but reach out to your local supplier, your local rep, your local partner experience manager for more information. That said, I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, we have a couple here, but if you guys have any others and want to chat them over using the chat box, feel free to. So Jason, how long would it take a company to adopt Office 365 without professional help, do you think?
Well, it's okay. So obviously size and scope of the company come into consideration. I think the statistics on that right now, without professional help, without additional services, they're not great. And the reason why, there's so many applications, and basically it's a platform that you can create yourself to do whatever lines of your company's vision. I think the average after 18 months right now is like 30% native adoption without professional help. So that's why I say one of the things that I'm just so passionate about is our ability to provide the adoption training and the analytics back to the senior officials to say, here's what we're tracking with adoption. Here's what you can expect from an ROI perspective.
Awesome. We have more coming in right now. I don't know if you'll know this off the top of your head, but what percentage of the market has not converted to 365 yet? Do you have any insight on that?
I don't know the exact number. I know there's a lot of opportunity out there. And not only is there opportunity to go to Office 365, but the opportunity to optimize the Office 365 environment. A lot of people just went like for like. Like, oh, I had email, now I got email, Office 365. They have no idea the breadth and depth of what's possible. And I think when it comes to uncovering that information, here's the question, right? As a trusted advisor, I would stop asking things like, what keeps you up at night, or, what problems are we trying to solve? The trusted advisor, you better know the answer to that question going into the meeting, otherwise why are you here? I would start asking, Mr. Customer, look them dead in the eye, Mr. Customer, who does your organization intend to be? And then allow RapidScale to architect that solution that solves that we're solving for that idea. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow, we have a lot coming in, so I'm trying to organize here. What is RapidScale's offer on storage and security around this product?
Okay, so Office 365, storage and security become a real concern. And the reason why it's not necessarily like storage, backup is a concern. Office 365 is not inherently backed up, highly available, but the information that's in there still requires a backup. So we have a number of solutions that we use to do it. And I think what the idea is that you need to keep a copy of everything safe. You need to keep archive. And then depending on, for security, there's a number of ways to secure within Office 365 from like a technology standpoint. But really, we partner with, I mean, we're not Microsoft pure. You know, we are a bundle of solutions in our portfolio that has, and I would say, you know, there's no better way to secure Microsoft than Mimecast, and for archiving as well. That said, there's a security posture within Office 365. It's not just, do I have security, do I not? How is my organization communicating with itself? And one of our tenets, you know, I mean, our tenets at Rapid Scale: increase productivity, improve security, empower the remote workforce, increase security, not just through technology, but through the posture the company takes. Communicating on Teams is way safer than internal email, and we podcasts for a different day, I suppose, but that's kind of where I would say it's a good place to start.
All right. I know we're over time, but I think I'm going to just do one or two more questions since we're on a roll.
All right. Your dime.
Well, the training that we offer, and I assume this is talking about TLA, does it help define exactly why a client should not try to adopt Office 365 by themselves? The perception being lower cost.
Yeah, you know, I think it does, because I think what it does is it highlights the difficulties in the migration you know, in the migration. I think it highlights the difficulties. You know, I don't think it necessarily highlights the difficulties. I think what it does is it shows the raw material enough to where you can be like, you know, Mr. Customer, you're still in the business of doing your business. This is a major undertaking. And if you're not dedicating resources to it above and beyond what you have today, the likelihood for a successful landing within, you know, 90 days is slim to none.
All right, and we'll just do one more, and then I've written down all the others, you guys. So we'll email out the answers when we do the follow-up email. What marketing materials do we offer around Office 365?
Well, luckily we have the best darn marketing team in all of the cloud space, and so they have just a wealth of marketing materials that are not only co-brandable, but you know, there's content, there's presentations, there's webinars, there's WebExes, there's, you know, and what I think genuinely, you know, in my opinion, there's no substitute for that live meeting. So if you have a customer who's interested and they want to talk, even if it's at a high level, they want to talk architecture, let us know. Shoot us an email. Grab your favorite PEM if you're in the Midwest. Let me know, and we can go ham it up. So these conversations make for a really good whiteboard, and they make for a really strong demo. So a Teams demo will not let your customer look at their business the same way ever again.
And yeah, just to add on to that, we have a new sales toolkit within the Technology Leadership Academy. So that's where you can find all of the marketing resources that we have available, not only on Office 365, but all the other solutions we offer. So, you know, one-pagers, case studies, email templates, you'll find those all if you sign up for Technology Leadership Academy. So I will send out a link to that in the follow-up email so that everyone has access. Other than that, I will also send out answers to the remaining questions, and we are good to go, Jason.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. This is a hoot. And if you need anything at all, please reach out.
Thanks, everyone.